crazy. I never did one of these videos before, and I feel like I still need to do like a legit video about this, but I never talked about my natural journey. And it's interesting because I feel like my natural journey kind of correlates with my spiritual journey. I don't really like that phrase, spiritual journey. My natural journey correlates with my relationship with God and how that got started, and how I started to become who I was supposed to be. I think I've been natural since 2014. That would mean maybe it's about 2014. I had permed hair and everything else. I had really good hair too. Like, let me not even get into the conversation of good hair. I just had healthy hair, and it was, I had long, healthy hair. And I want to say that when I had permed hair, not that my sin was related to me having permed hair, but I just feel like just during that time in my life, I just was like really wilding out. I can remember earlier in my relationship with God, I felt like, you know what, I'm like all over the place. I was just like, you know what, I need to try out something different, right? I need to like really figure out what my life is going to be, because this is not it. And finally, I think an event was coming up, and I was just kind of like, I told my best friend who I was running with, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to this, and I don't think I'm gonna be hanging out, so I don't really know what that means for us. I don't think I can do this anymore, and I think I need to try out something different. So from there, I started to try to figure out, okay, what is my life gonna be? I ended up going to Africa for 2 weeks, and when I came back, my mind was just a lot more clear, and I just had a better idea of like what I wanted to do, and how I was going to allow God to like really infiltrate my life. What does that have to do with my hair? So around the same time, I kind of felt like, I need to change. I need to like do something different. This is in my contact. You don't want me to win. Devil, you a liar. You a liar. So I felt like I needed to switch things up. I felt like I wanted to do something different. So my friend, my other best friend, Shannon, she was natural. I think she was natural at this point. She was natural. And some other people in my life were natural, and I was just like, that's different. Like, I don't know what my hair is gonna look natural. Like, I could have looked like the newest Muppet Baby, or just shaky, looking like a motherless child, just looking like I had no home. Kim, how you get here? I don't know, because I don't know directions. So I just didn't really know what my hair was gonna be like natural. But I just came to a point where I was like, you know what, I need to just go for it. I just needed to do something, right? So I ended up big chopping in 2014, and I was like, wow, like this is crazy. Like, I almost had a breakdown. First of all, had a breakdown because I'm like, yo, I never had short hair before. And there were so many different ideas and thoughts that went into that, because I was like, I don't want to look like a lesbian. I just didn't want to look unfeminine and whatever. I think there were things going on in my life at the time where I was just trying to really divorce a certain look, and divorce a certain attitude, and divorce a certain just thing, and I was like, I just don't want to be out here looking like a butch. That's just really what it is. But either way, I big chopped, and the first night I was just like, this was just such a huge mistake. Why did I do this? Then I ended up coloring my hair, and I was like, okay, I can deal with this. Like, okay, I'm good. I can deal with this. So I feel like when I big chopped, though, that it was like, I feel like my life changed. And I think from there, like, my creativity started to sprout. Before that, I was everything was really about basketball. I played Division I basketball, and I had played since what, like 8th grade, like competitively. Like it was kind of like I needed to figure out what else is there to Kim. Like in my mind, I didn't really see anything else in me, and that speaks to like the state of mind that I was in, or just where my life was. I didn't really see anything else. I think for the most part I was a cool person. Like people generally gravitated toward me and liked to be around me, but I just felt like, well, is that it? Like, is that all that there is? Like people just like to have a good time with me. Oh, Kim is so funny and this and that. Like, is that really it? And so I had to kind of like look into myself and kind of see, well, what's going on. But I didn't really learn who I was until I started like really letting God into my life. I think this is the reason why I'm bringing my hair into this, because when you're changing your life, you're turning your life over to Christ, you need to inquire with God about who you are supposed to be, right? And I think for me, cutting my hair was a way of divorcing everything that had happened before, divorcing everything that I had gone through, all the situations that I had come through, and I just erased the slate. And I know for some people it's like, well, it was all in your hair. And it's like, no, but it was just like the identity. I needed to refresh my identity. And I think being able to cut my hair, start off new, and just get back to the basics, just getting back to the core of me. And I don't want this to sound deep or anything, but that's really how it felt. Because once I cut my hair, I think I allowed a door to be closed and another door to be opened in my life. And once I started to look this direction, the direction of God, I just think true growth happened in my life. Along with my new growth, true growth happened in my life. Bars. It was a matter of like me growing spiritually, me growing as a person and maturing, as well as my hair growing in its natural state and starting to take shape and form and just like do its own thing. And I just absolutely love being natural. So I had grown my hair out. It had gotten big. Maybe I'll post a picture right here to show you how big it was getting. And then, so within that time, I'm like really learning who I am. I'm learning how creative I am. And I think the deeper my relationship went with God, the more character and the more you heard in my voice, because you heard my story, you heard it all, how big it was and how strong and robust, and I felt like that was showing. It was showing what was happening internally, like this strong woman that was like being grown in front of people's eyes. And I really can only attribute that to God. You know what I mean? I think the cool thing about it was that when I cut my hair and got natural, and my relationship with God is changing, I just think I was a lot more open to new things, and I'm grateful for that, because God really like opened up my heart to accept and receive new things, because I think in my life I was just always doing this one thing. My focus was just always in this one direction, and that's really what it was. But God really had to show me a whole like different world and show me all these other possibilities. And being that I took the first step with cutting my hair, right, something so drastic and so left field for me, that kind of relieved a lot of fear for me. It relieved a lot of, it set new ground for me to say like, okay, I did this thing which was like really scary for me. I can do some other things. Like I think I can kind of step out and do some other things that I may not be comfortable with. And I think that's the key. It took me completely out of my comfort zone, and then I was able to discover like who I really was, and I love that. I feel like I gained so much just like in my womanhood and in my persona. My identity was just solidified, in those moments. Here I am thinking I just cut my hair, but I didn't realize that God kind of used that as a stage to kind of like really grow me And I just feel like that it's just so dope that, you know, my natural journey just fell right in the middle of like the beginning of my relationship with God, and I was able to use that as a tracker. Like, you know, I'm growing. I'm really growing. Oh my gosh, I'm flourishing. I am healthy. Girl, this curl is popping. Like, that's just how it was. And I felt like that on the outside, and I felt like that on the inside in my heart. You know, things are being removed from my heart. God is dealing with, you know, selfishness, and God is dealing with insecurity. God is dealing with me not loving me. But now I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, girl, you are, yes, like you are it. You know, I just felt like all of this self-love was just being restored in me. Whereas beforehand, I didn't necessarily have that because of so many things that was going on in my life. Self-love was like, God really restored my love for me in that in the experience of cutting my hair, going natural, and being introduced to Him. You know, like, this is who I am. You know, and He really was showing me who I was, really pulling stuff out of me that I didn't know was there. Like this creative bone, I didn't know it was there, and now having my eyes open, I realized how it came out. You know, in the way I played and in the way I dealt with people. I realized that my creativity was always there, but I wasn't able to see it the way it was supposed to be seen because I didn't really see God the way I was supposed to be seeing Him. So I'm grateful for my natural journey, honestly. I'm grateful for my natural hair. I'm grateful that God was able to get to me, you know, in a very small and minute thing, you know. Something as simple as me cutting my hair, God was able to kind of dip in there and be a part of that. And it wasn't just me cutting my hair, but it was me finding out who I was. And I love that. I love that. I'm natural. I am naturally lovable. I'm naturally saved. I'm naturally Christian. I'm naturally dope. I'm naturally dope. So, yeah.